One of the most national level issues that brought women's groups together was Tukaram and another versus state of Maharashtra, more commonly known as Mathura rape case. This case gave birth to legalization which weren't there before. The bench that gave the judgment of this case was constituted by Justice P.S. Kailasam, A.D. Kaushal and Jaswant Singh. The decision of the bench was highly criticized and condemned and thus led to huge public outcry and protest against the laws of the country, and the day was regarded as Black Day in the history of women empowerment. Mathura was a young orphan tribal girl living with one of her two brothers. She was an Adivasi. The incident is suspected to have taken place on 26 March 1972. She was between 14 to 16 years old at that time. To earn a living, both Mathura and her brother worked as laborers. Mathura used to go to Nunshi's house for work, and during her work she came into contact with Ashok, who was the sister's son of Nunshi. She developed a relationship with Ashok and thereafter they decided to get married. On 26 March 1972, a complaint was filed by Mathura's brother Gama alleging that Mathura had been kidnapped by Nunshi, her husband Lakshman and Ashok. The three along with Mathura were brought to police station and the statements were recorded. According to the statement, Mathura along with Nunshi and Gama started leaving the police station. However, the first appellant Ganpat directed Nunshi and Gama to move out and asked Mathura to wait at the police station. Immediately thereafter, Ganpat took Mathura into the loo and raped her despite protest and stiff resistance on her part. After satisfying his lust, he departed. Another appellant, Tukaram, fondled Mathura's private parts after coming to place where she was. He also wanted to rape her, but he failed to do so as he was highly intoxicated. There was natural anxiety outside the police station because the lights were shelled and doors were locked. To disperse the crowds, Tukaram emerged and declared that Mathura had already left, but to his surprise, Mathura managed to get to the door and screamed that she was raped by Ganpat. Mathura was examined by doctors. She had no injuries. Her ham revealed old ruptures. Other aspects of physical examination disclosed that she had intercourse in the past. The presence of semen was detected on her bush, on her garments and also the pajama of Ganpat. To everyone's surprise, the session judge found the evidence insufficient to convict the accused. The furthest he would go was to hold Mathura had sexual intercourse with Ganpat. The district judge therefore acquitted the appellant. The decision of the session court was reversed by Mumbai High Court and sentenced Tukaram and Ganpat to rigorous imprisonment for 1 year and for 5 years respectively. Its grounds for reversal were that since both of these gentlemen were strangers to Mathura, it was highly unlikely that Mathura would invite the accused to satisfy her sexual desires. The High Court was of the view that policemen took advantage of the fact that Mathura was involved in a complaint filed by her brother and she was alone in dead hour of the night in police station. This well tried that she couldn't have in any likelihood consented to intercourse. The appellant in an appeal by special leave contended that it cannot have be deduced that the girl had been subjected to any fear or was under any compulsion as there was no direct evidence that about the nature of the consent of the girl. The alleged intercourse was peaceful and there was no resistance at all. The claim of the girl that she shouted is also false. Allowing the appeal, the court held under the section 375 of Indian Penal Code only the fear of the hurt or death can vitiate sexual intercourse. There was no such finding recorded. Whereas Tukaram is concerned, Mathura pointed more serious things to him in her disposition and later attributed these acts to Ganpat. The appellants were acquitted, stating that this alleged intercourse was a peaceful affair. The decision of the Supreme Court led to a huge public outcry and protest against the laws, and the decision delivered by the court. To have the case reheard, an open letter was written to the Chief Justice of India by law professors of Delhi University. The concept of the judgment was protested by the professors. As a direct response to the judgment, a number of women's groups were reformed, including Saheli in Delhi, the first ever feminist group in India against rape. Forum Against Rape, later renamed as Forum Against the Oppression of Women, called for a national conference which started the debate for legal reforms. Women from various states including Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Nagpur took to the streets on International Women's Day. However, the result of public outcry was Criminal Law Amendment Act being passed in 1983. On 25 December 1983, a statutory provision in the face of Section 114A of the Evidence Act was made, which states that if the victim says that she did not consent to sexual intercourse, the court shall presume the same. With the enactment and addition of 376A, 376B, 376C, 376D in IPC section 376, punishment of rape under Indian Penal Code went under a change, which made the custodial rape punishable, which was further amended in 2013 after Nirbhaya case. Further, the burden of proof was shifted from victim to offender, and it also added provision for in-camera trials, the provision on the victim identity, and tougher sentences. This case led to great awareness of women's rights issues, oppression, patriarchal mindset, and therefore proved to be a turning point in women's rights movement in India. Mathura rape case was a monumental one, as it was the first rape case that changed both the legal and social perspective, leading to reforms in Indian rape laws. Previously, rape misjudgments or acquittals would go unnoticed, but after the new rape law, women's movement against rape gathered force, and organizations supporting rape victims and women's rights advocates came to force to give justice to women.